Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, you're very welcome, and I hope you've had a wonderful and amazing day. And today, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, can you please subscribe? And if you've already subscribed and haven't pressed the notification bell, you need to do it right now. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you how to make a basic skirt pattern. All you need for your skirt pattern is your waist circumference, your hip circumference, and the length of the skirt. The three main are the waist circumference, your hip circumference, and the length of the skirt. Before we go into making the skirt pattern, I'm gonna explain a few things here. That is the front pattern. It's a pencil skirt, as you can see, and this is the back of the pencil skirt, and it's got dots there marked in and the zip allowance there. So like I said, you need the waist measurement, and for this pattern the waist measurement is 34, and we're gonna divide it by 4. The reason being we're dividing it by 4 is because this skirt is gonna be folded into 2. This half is going to be folded into 2 when making our pattern, and this back side, is gonna be folded into 2 as well when making our pattern. So that is the reason why it's divided by 4. And if I divide 34, which the measurement I'm going to be using today is waist 34, hip 44, the skirt length 24. So if I divide the 34 by 4, it gives me 8.5. Then I add 1 inch is for the dot you see here. So it's for the 1 inch is for the half of the front. Yeah, it's gonna be folded, so it's for half of the front. So then add the 0.5 sewing allowance. For the sewing allowance, we're gonna be adding it. Then the hip as well, the 44 divided by 4 makes 11, and for the hip you don't need the dot because it ends there, so the hip doesn't need any dot, so you just add the sewing allowance. And for the back side, which I'll explain later here, you will need additional 1 inch or 1.5, whatever you choose to have for the zip allowance. So you need your skirt length, so I'm going to be working with 24 inches. So it is important as well that you know the waist point to the hip point, which is normally between 8 inches and 10.5, because we have people who have a bit of a raised hip. Their hip point is higher than other people. So the standard is normally between 8 and 10.5 inches. And it can differ as well because we have so many human shapes. So it can differ as well, but most popular is between 8 and 10.5. So the back pattern will have a zip allowance, and like I said before, this 11.5 that we came about, we're just gonna add 1 inch for the zip allowance. You can decide to add more, 1.5 or 2 inches for your zip allowance, but I'm gonna be working with 1 inch, adding it to this. So for this back pattern, it's gonna have the hip measurement, which is 11, which is a quarter of your hip plus half an inch sewing allowance and the 1 inch zip allowance, making 12.5. So let's get started. So you want to lay your brown paper or your pattern paper flat on the table and make sure the sides are straight. With my pattern here, my side is straight there, so I don't need to rule a line, but I'm gonna be ruling a line on the waist line. So I'm going an inch down from the edge of the paper. You can go lower, you can have 1.5 inches down or 2 inches, but I'm going just an inch, lower from the edge of the paper. So what I'm doing now is measuring from my waistline to my hip point. That's my waistline. Measuring 10.5, the 10.5 waist point to hip point. I'm going to be taking 10.5 for that. Then from my waistline now to the length of the skirt is 24 inches. So I'll be measuring that now. 24 inches, hence there. So I'm going to be marking that. Then from that skirt length, I'm going to be measuring the 1.5 hem allowance for my skirt. That gives a total of 25.5 inches, guys. So remember, the quarter of the waist I'm going to be working with is 8.5 inches. So I'll be measuring 8.5 inches on the waistline. Next, I'm going to be adding the 1 inch for the dart allowance. That's the 1 inch. And finally, I'll be adding half an inch allowance, which is the 0.5, making a total of 10 inches measured along the waistline. So the next one is going to be my hip line now, guys. So 11 inches, remember, is 11 inches. So what I'm doing, I'm rolling the line first, and for the hip line and for my hem line, I'm going to be rolling a straight line as well. So it allows for ease of measurement. When you input in your measurement, it makes it easy. So I'm going to go back now to my hip line and measure the 11 inches. So I'm marking that 11 inches now. Next, you want to add the half an inch sewing allowance. Like I said, your hip does not need a dart allowance. It only needs the quarter of your hip measurement plus the sewing allowance. So I'm going down and marking exactly what I've marked on my hip line on the hem line. I haven't made a marking of my skirt length there. I've just gone straight to my hem allowance, line, because I'm gonna be working from my hem allowance line. So you want to measure 1 inch in. Yeah, 1 inch in for the pencil skirt. If you want, you can go in by 1.5 or 2 inches. But on this occasion, I'm going 1 inch in. So we'll connect it to the hip point over there, then connect it to the waistline. So watch me as I do that. It's very essential as a beginner that you use pencil to draft your pattern before using a marker, because you can easily correct any mistake you have made. So I'm going to go ahead and measure my dart. And what it is if you have watched my bodice pattern, the dart on the bodice pattern is your bust span, which is nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So here I'm going to go with the same, which my nipple to nipple measurement is 9 inches divided by 2, which gives me 4.5. So I'm marking the 4.5 there right away. And what I'm going to do, because your dart is 1 inch, remember you took 1 inch for your dart. So you're going to be marking half on one side and half an inch on the other side, which gives you your 1 inch. And you need 4 inches down. You need to measure 4 inches for the length of the dart. For the front skirt pattern, you need 4 inches. Go ahead now and connect it together. Here we have our dart. So next thing now is to go by your waistline up there at that point and measure 3/4 of an inch up. You need 3/4 of an inch high up, because our skirt is a bit high on the side. So you measure 3/4 of an inch and you rule a line to connect it to the midpoint of your skirt, the place on fold. So watch me as I do that. So we want to make our skirt a bit curvy at the front. So go ahead, use your French ruler if you have one. And if you haven't got one, you can, make the curve yourself free-handedly. So now connect the lines together and reshape your skirt. So what I've done here is that I've drawn all the lines out, the ones I haven't drawn. So that's my allowance that I took before, and that's my M line allowance plus the length of the skirt line. So everything has been drawn out. What I've forgotten to do at this point is the half an inch sewing allowance that I ought to have added to the waistline, but I'm gonna do that later in the video. So here we have the front pattern. So I'm gonna be adding the 1/2 inch allowance for the sewing allowance that I forgot. I will do that later, but for now I'm gonna use the front pattern and to cut the back pattern. But one thing we won't forget with the back pattern is to add the 1/2 inch allowance. So we're gonna be placing the front pattern now on the back pattern, leaving room by the waistline. You need to leave a bit of room up there, and as well by the zip line, you need that 1 inch for your zip line. So I'll be measuring the 1 inch for the zip allowance now, all the way down. Then connect all the markings with a straight line. Now you want to pin the front pattern to the back pattern to secure it properly when cutting and when transferring all the lines. So you want to be transferring everything from the front to the back. So by the place on fold on the front and by where the zip line is on the back pattern, you want to come down 1/2 inch, because our back skirt is a bit, bent in. It's not straight at the back, it's a bit curved in. So you need to take that 1/2 inch down and connect it exactly to where the waistline point is on the front pattern. Now we want to add the 1/2 inch sewing allowance to our pattern. This is for the back, but as well it's going to affect the front as well when I put that allowance later on the front. But for now I'm drafting it on the back pattern. That's the 1/2 inch. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and connect the lines together. Then I'm going to be retracing the one for the back. Don't forget 1/2 inch. We have 1/2 inch below the zip line area on by the place on fold for the front. So I'm going to be connecting from that point. Yeah, so watch me as I do that. I'm going to be connecting right from the waistline point that matches the front pattern to the back pattern that is a bit, bendy, more bendy than the front. So I'm going to curve it out. So now we want to connect that line right into the zip line, the zip line area for the back pattern. So we're going to make it curvy right into that. So I've gone ahead to connect the lines properly. I've got some disjointed, broken lines there, which you will see in a bit. That's the sewing allowance for the back pattern, and that's the, top line. So I'm going to be transferring my dart now. The front dart, I'll be transferring it for the back dart, but the back dart is going to be 5 inches longer in length, not 4 inches. It's going to be 5 inches instead. So I'm using my pin to make a mark. Then I'm going to be measuring extra 1 inch, for the back dart, and I'll rule a line and connect the sides together. If you remember, 1/2 inch on each side there. So I've connected that together. So now I'm gonna be cutting out the pattern. So I'm making sure it's well clipped down so it doesn't move to get my exact measurement. So now I'm trying to transfer all the lines as well. So the pin has made markings for me. They've made holes, so it's easy for me to just trace and transfer from the front pattern to the back pattern. So now I'm going to be adding my 1/2 inch allowance for the front pattern. Now I've got this spare brown paper, so I'm going to be attaching, from the back of the pattern. I'm going to be sticking sellotape. I'm going to be taping it down. Now there is room for us to draft the 1/2 inch allowance. Is this ever happened to you before? This is the method you need to use. Just use your sellotape and tape extra paper on and just carry on with your pattern making instead of drafting a new pattern from beginning. So I've added the 1/2 inch allowance and I will just connect all the lines together. How easy is that? Just easy. You forget to connect, anything in your pattern, and it's easily sorted with a tape and spare paper. Just take a look at that. So I'm going to secure the front with another tape, makes it solid and undetachable. It's not going to detach from the original pattern. So here I have my front pattern and my back pattern with a zip allowance. 1-inch zip allowance that you could fold. If you want it folded away, you can always fold that away. But for now, guys, I'm gonna be transferring the rest of the lines to the back pattern. You want to draw all your lines and go ahead and write all the description and all the measurements as well that we have used. So this bit is optional. You can go ahead and write the name of the pattern owner and their exact measurement, the waist, hip, and skirt length. This is just easy for you next time you're making a reference to the pattern. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you've been able to learn one thing or the other that you'll be able to transfer to your pattern making skills. I hope to see you in my next video. For now, remember to subscribe and press that notification bell. See you in my next video.